If you want to know how to take action when your loved one is critically ill in intensive care, instead of asking for closure once your loved one has passed away because you have not taken any action, stay tuned. I've got news for you today. I've got an email from Catalina who says, "Hi, Patrick. I'm reaching out for closure. I'm still in the process of requesting my father's medical records, which I can send over as soon as I have them. I know they won't change that my father is gone, but I'm struggling to come to terms with my decision to have placed my father on comfort care." By the way, my name is Patrick Hotzel from intensivecarehotline.com, and this is another quick tip for families in intensive care. So Catalina continues, "My father was admitted to the ICU on February 7th at 8 a.m. He was 61 years old with a history of diabetes and mental illness. He was diagnosed with H1N1, which is the swine flu pneumonia, and was found to have 2 secondary bacteria infections in his lungs and blood, Pseudomonas and Staphylococcus. He went into septic shock and his kidneys were failing. Moreover, he was intubated and on a ventilator. I flew out to see my father on February the 8th, and I arrived at about 6 a.m. My father was mottling on his thighs with purple-blue coloring on his feet, hands, ears, and face. He was very cold to the touch. The doctors informed me he was not showing signs of reflexes, that he was on the highest ventilator settings. It was adjusted the night before to the highest settings. They informed me his fever, blood pressure, etc. had not changed despite their interventions. They told me they would not leave the interventions running for him to the 9th, and that they would allow me to decide when to place him on comfort care. I did feel that the ICU team, for the most part, was very responsive to our family, answering our questions to the best of their ability. But when I look back on it now, I feel like they were telling me I didn't have a choice about transitioning to comfort care. I just had a choice about when. My gut told me my father was dying based on what I could see, and maybe I'm just struggling to accept that fact. But I feel guilty that I did a, quote, and she puts it in quote, euthanasia. Euthanasia is stated on your website without fully knowing that that's what comfort care was or meant, and that I didn't ask enough questions. I appreciate your support. Now, like I always say, you need to take action on day one, because most families in intensive care completely underestimate having a loved one critically ill in intensive care. And what you see is often not what you get in intensive care. That's number one. Number two, you are in a once-in-a-lifetime situation that you simply cannot afford to get wrong. Number three, one question that families in intensive care always need to ask themselves is, where's the hurry to kill someone? Where's the urgency? Now, also keep in mind that approximately 90% of intensive care patients survive. So why would your dad be 1 out of 10 if the odds are in his favor? And it also doesn't sound to me like you've sought a second opinion, or it doesn't sound to me like you've sought access to medical records to get a second opinion. You were just basically flying blind, and you just believed everything they were presenting to you without checking whether it's real or perceived, which leads me to my next point. Was it a real or a perceived end-of-life situation? Well, what's the difference? And I'm glad you asked. A real end-of-life situation in intensive care is that no treatment, no surgery, no medications, no equipment, no nothing will be able to save your critically ill loved one's life. That is a real end-of-life situation. A perceived end-of-life situation is that it's just a perception, and that your loved one may actually live if they give it a good shot, with all treatments being available. Now, I don't know whether all treatment was made available for your dad or not. But one thing is for sure, if you are in a life or death situation, why would you not question everything that you're seeing? I mean, one of my mentors always told me, question everything and ask better questions. No, I don't understand why families in intensive care don't understand that they're in a life or death situation, and why they leave no stone unturned. Right? I understand no one sitting at home wondering and thinking, oh, if my family member goes into intensive care next week, what am I going to do? You know, nobody would be thinking that. I get that. But, and your gut feeling might have been right, that it was a real end-of-life situation, but how would you have known? And like I said, one question that families in intensive care always need to ask themselves is, especially when they're being confronted with a situation where the intensive care team says, well, the only option here is comfort care or withdrawal of treatment, because it won't be in the quote unquote best interest of your family member to leave, or it won't be quote unquote in the best interest of your family member to pull through, because then they won't have any quote unquote quality of life. What is quality of life? It's a perception, right? So it is very important that you get help, professional help, right from the start, because if you don't, you are effed. Let's call it for what it is in this situation. Now families are having second thoughts, and then it's too late, right? The other thing that you need to understand is, from an intensive care team perspective, their worst case scenario is to look after someone indefinitely with an uncertain outcome. That is their worst case scenario. And your dad might have fitted that criteria. I don't know. I don't have enough information. But the bottom line is, you didn't question. And we have saved so many lives here at intensivecarehotline.com. We have saved so many lives. And I will tell you in a minute how to verify that, right? And our advice here is absolutely life-changing, absolutely life-changing. Rather than seeking closure, you need to take action when your loved one is in intensive care, right? So you need a second opinion, and you need someone on your team that understands intensive care inside out, just as much as the intensive care team there understands the intensive care inside out. One of the reasons I do make these videos is simply to help families in intensive care. But you also need to grab the help and not come when it's too late. We can do a medical record review for sure, and we'll probably find some medical negligence. Maybe we won't, but the reality is, most of the time we do find medical negligence when we do medical record reviews. That's just the sad reality, and you need to go into a situation like this with your eyes wide open. You only have one dad. You only have one mom. You only have one spouse, right? And you just need to go in with your eyes wide open. I have worked in critical care nursing for 25 years in 3 different countries, where I worked as a nurse manager for over 5 years, and where I've been consulting and advocating for families in intensive care since 2013 here at intensivecarehotline.com. And I can confidently say that we have saved many lives for our clients in intensive care. And you can verify that on our testimonial section at intensivecarehotline.com. And you can verify it on our intensivecarehotline.com podcast section, where we have done client interviews who will verify in interviews how we help them to save their loved ones' lives. And we most likely would have saved your dad's life as well. At least we would have bought you some time to say goodbye, come to terms with things. That is the very least we could have done, because we get results. Unlike families in intensive care who don't even think about that managing intensive care teams is an option. That's what we do here. We help you manage intensive care teams so they don't manage you, or we manage them on your behalf, right? I know that's a big, bold statement to make, but have a look at our testimonial section. Have a look at our podcast section. It is possible. You just need to do it, right? Your loved one's life depends on it. It absolutely depends on it. Like I said, our advice here is absolutely life-changing, quite literally, right? Actually, very literally. And you can join a growing number of hundreds and hundreds of members and clients that we helped over the years to improve their lives instantly, to make informed decisions, to have peace of mind, control, power, and influence, making sure your loved one gets best care and treatment always. And that's why I do one-on-one consulting and advocacy over the phone, Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp, whichever medium works best for you. And I talk to you and your families directly. I handhold you through this once-in-a-lifetime situation that you simply cannot afford to get wrong. And I handhold you through this once-in-a-lifetime situation. I also talk to doctors and nurses directly. And when I talk to doctors and nurses directly on your behalf or with you, right, I ask all the questions that you haven't even considered asking. I ask all the questions that you haven't even considered asking, but must be asked when you have a loved one critically ill in intensive care. I also represent you in family meetings with intensive care teams. We also do medical record reviews in real time so that you can get a second opinion in real time. This could have been life-saving for Catalina. We also have a membership, and we also do medical record reviews after intensive care if you have unanswered questions, if you need closure, or if you simply are suspecting medical negligence. We also have a membership for families of critically ill patients in intensive care, and you can become a member if you go to intensivecarehotline.com, if you click on the membership link, or if you go to intensivecaresupport.org directly. In the membership, you have access to me and my team 24 hours a day in the membership area and via email, and we answer all questions intensive care related. In the membership, you also have exclusive access to 21 ebooks and 21 videos that I've personally written and recorded that will help you to make informed decisions, have peace of mind, control, power, and influence, making sure your loved one gets best care and treatment always. And all of that you get at intensivecarehotline.com. Call us on one of the numbers on the top of our website, or simply send us an email to support@intensivecarehotline.com with your questions. And if you like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families in intensive care. Click the like button, click the notification bell, comment below what you want to see next, what questions and insights you have. Share this video with your friends and families. I also do a weekly YouTube live where I answer your questions live on a show, and you will get notification for the YouTube live if you're a subscriber to my YouTube channel, or if you're a subscriber to my intensivecarehotline.com email newsletter at intensivecarehotline.com. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care for now.